Audio. It's 25 seconds. Live.
And we're live. Happy New Year.
Nice glasses, bud. Happy New Year. We're live from the REC studio.
2021.
These are the best.
This is the best. I love it. Live from the REC studios in our headquarters here at Shops at Don Mills in Toronto. Let us know, REC Nation, where are you signing in from? It's Brunch with REC, the first brunch with REC as of 2021. We weren't going to let our crew and our nation down, Simos, just because it's quasi-vacation for some and holidays.
I mean, it's vacation for some.
Yeah.
But not for the REC, bro.
Look at you. Look at you. Dress shirt, blazer, all of it. You got the glasses.
I even got reports.
You got reports.
I got
a report.
We got paper here. We got paper. We got paper here.
We got some food coming. Make sure you let us know, guys. Where are you signing in from? What are you having for brunch? Is it just coffee? Is it tea? Is it some food? Moving forward for 2021, we are going to be supporting local businesses / restaurants on every single brunch. We got our boy Luke Phenom Leasing coming in, dropping off some food that he picked up from one of our favorite diners right around the corner, which is Winfield's.
Yeah, so if anybody doesn't know, we're based out of North York at the Shops at Don Mills. This is REC headquarters. It's Royal LePage signature headquarters. It's also the REC studio was built in here. So as a North York business and two people who will go to the end of days to support local business because we are a local business. Winfield's, we've been there a million times. We've done more strategy meetings in the mornings at Winfield's than I can remember.
We'll make sure to put the link, Clem or Steven, when we get a sec. Let's put the link. I know Tyler and Bobby are on the live with us as well. If one of you guys can just put the address to Winfield. It's at the corner of York Mills and Leslie. Just a beautiful spot. Make some of the best eggs. I think that's what you went down the route today of ordering.
We have eggs Benny coming, spinach and feta omelet. Obviously, I'm a little bit Greek. A ham and cheddar for those who aren't Greek.
But if you're going down a Greek omelet, maybe I should do an Indian omelet. Put some butter chicken in there. So we should fix some tandoori chicken in the omelets. As always, guys, please give us your feedback. Make sure that you're letting us know while we're going on. Throw up the likes and the hearts. And we got to ask you guys for a favor before we kind of move on with today's agenda. Is if you can take a second right now. It's very easy on this platform of on Facebook Live to press the share button. Let a friend know, one family member, one colleague. Press the share button. Let them know that you are in the Brunch with REC. It is every other Saturday. If you guys let us know that we're doing a great job, we're going to do it every Saturday. Simos and I eat every single day, and we love to eat brunch. So there's nothing wrong, and we would love to do this every single Saturday. But for now, it's every other Saturday, 10:30 a.m. live here on Facebook. And we're going to be talking about what happened in the Toronto real estate market. But before we get into that, Simos, let's talk a little bit.
One just last shout out for the small business.
100%.
Please pipe in with a business that you support. The one that you have supported, your favorite, whether it's your favorite restaurant, your favorite clothing store, your favorite hardware store. I don't care what it is, but if you support it and you think other people should support it too, please take a moment and share your favorite small business. Share what gives you pleasure out there and how to make somebody's day stronger, better. We're all in this together. I know you've heard it a million times, but it couldn't stand more true than to support someone's business and give them hope on this amazing trip to recovery. So, because we have great news on the real estate front.
100%.
Very optimistic.
Very optimistic.
And it's not the same for every small business.
And it's stats driven.
But it's not the same for every small business out there. There's a lot of people still struggling bad. So let's do what we can to help them. And let's have that discussion.
Well, and two things before that. One, going back to the small businesses, guys, we've got to keep the dollar moving. It's really the only way that we're going to keep some of these businesses open. In terms of the restaurants, put it into the comments right now of a diner that you know, a restaurant that you know that is open for brunches, because we will definitely, thanks again, Luke, we will be definitely giving them a call every other Saturday. We're going to bring your favorite restaurants. Maybe you own a restaurant right now that we can support next Saturday. Like, we move quite quickly. We're going to execute. The whole crew around us here, Clem, Luke, Steven, are all eating. So we're going to make sure that it's not just a small plate just for Simos and I. It's for the whole crew. We like, if there's anything that we want to focus on this year, it is helping small businesses. For the year of 2020, I mean, for REC Canada, if you haven't yet caught our most recent video on YouTube, make sure to go take a look at it. It was produced and written by none other than Clem, beautiful Clem Alves. Go to our REC Canada page. It's YouTube, on YouTube. We talk about how the adversity, how we got through the adversity of 2020. It's a 3-minute and like 30-second video, not that long. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought. And so the reason I'm talking about that is, and to come back full circle in terms of small businesses, we're very blessed. You know, we got a team of 39, almost 40, maybe 40 realtors now, 11 support staff. We've done very well in 2020, but as Simos mentioned, I thought it was a great point, brother. Not everyone was as blessed, and now it's our time to give back.
Well, no, their businesses weren't, whether they weren't deemed essential or too dangerous for the pandemic, it's not the restaurant's fault they got shut down. Had nothing to do with the owner or their actions. Like, ours is an essential service because people have to make big moves. I get it. And people did, as we're going to talk about. But that puts us in a position where we transacted. We were successful. We were profitable. So the business ran and the business thrived. When a guy is out there and he's being told, you know, put on a chokehold and you cannot move, well, he has no choice but to sit at home praying for the recovery to go through. So when we say it's crucial to support small business, we're talking about your cousin, your neighbor, your uncle, your friend, my cousin, my uncle. Like, people need to live.
100%, buddy.
So it's our duty as citizens, it's our duty as neighbors to support these people. And again, Jeff Bezos will forgive us, but like, if you're going on Amazon as opposed to waiting 15 minutes in a curbside to help a neighbor, this is where you need to have your mind thinking. This is what you need to do.
I agree.
So it's not a time about convenience, it's a time of support.
We want to thank everybody who's watching live. We also want to thank everybody who's watching the recording. We know thousands of our REC insiders watch the recording as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's have some fun today. Yes. Let's have a little bit of fun in the comments. I know you're, so far you're going to make sure that you're putting down what small businesses you know, that you know and you want us to support this year. A. B. Put in your New Year's resolutions. Put your New Year's resolutions. I'll start with mine. Mine is to over-communicate my message. What does that mean? Well, I want to make sure that I over-communicate my message with my team as well as my REC insiders. And so we're going to communicate a lot of value this year as we have in the past, but we're going to double down on it. But I'm also going to ask and let you know when we're selling something, i.e., like, it might be a multiplex, it might be a commercial building, it might be a condo project, whatever it is, I'm going to communicate that better. But I need your help. Let us know how we can do that. Give us the feedback.
We have some very exciting things coming up this year.
What's your New Year's resolution, though, first, buddy?
New Year resolution.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
New Year resolution is going to evolve. My personal weight, fitness, and everything else is no longer a New Year resolution. I started in October. I'm on a tremendous path. So my personal health and fitness goals are not part of my my 2021 resolutions. My 2021 resolutions are to see myself and everyone who I love and appreciate thrive. I don't want to see anybody in my circle facing mental issues. Mental health was huge. I know way too many people that were affected by this pandemic negatively because, like, if you're an entrepreneur, typically the people around you are in the same. So I've seen way too many people hurt, and I want to see a big recovery, and that's why I'm harping down the support local more than ever. So my 2021 is going to be the guy who can give a helping hand in every position that we can. So if it's in my hand to help, I will.
Awesome.
And mentorship. Mentorship plays a huge role in my life with our team. Above and beyond that, I'm going through a tremendous and stringent application process with the Prince's Trust, which is founded by the monarchy in England, especially the Prince, Diana.
Trying to get knighted or something?
No.
Just trying to see where you're going with
No,
this.
but it supports veteran entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So basically, veterans who have returned back that they don't even have the business skills, or they need their business skills existing honed. I'm going to be in a position to counsel, to be there and set up, whether it's startups, whether it's consulting.
Love it.
We're going to be helping out some veterans set up their businesses at a very high level.
What an amazing cause. I know if there's somebody who's watching right now live, if you know how we might be able to double down on any one of our resolutions, please let us know. And more importantly, let us know how we can help with your resolutions. We're not just talking from an investment and financial perspective. It could really come from just someone to talk to. We're always available. It's why we do these live events and all the other stuff that REC Canada is up to. Before Simos, we dive into this housing market update that we're going to be talking about. I want to touch a little bit on last week's successes with our teams, with our team members, right across the board in terms of what properties were sold. I think moving forward, now that I'm just kind of
I actually have that. Shemi got it to me.
Shemi sent it over. Shemi, shout out to Shem Sharif, our client service manager for the last 14 years. We love you. I know you're at home, but last minute we asked you for this report. You sent it over to Simos. I think every time we do a brunch, I think it's safe to say we're going to start off with letting you know what's sold within the GTA. Within our team, we do a little over 700 transactions and help a little over 700 buyers, sellers, and investors every single year. Not only investors.
And if you see what transacted over the week of Christmas, you're going to puke. Like, this is awesome because it gives such a great insight to our viewers.
And I love
what's
that.
happening.
And exactly. And that's why I was saying every time we do a brunch, we're going to start here because you're automatically going to get an idea of what properties, what value, like what's the value of all these properties around the GTA. Like, there's one thing knowing the asking price, but here's a tip for 2021. If you're looking into real estate, stop worrying about the asking price. The asking price is irrelevant. One out of every three listings is listed too low. 2 out of every 3 listings is listed too high. It's probably the ratio. What do we mean by that? Well, on purpose, sellers and their agents list properties at a lower than market value to attract more buyers, to attract more offers.
To get
attention. And so what you always want to look at when it comes to real estate values is what has sold, what's comparable. Specifically, if you're looking for your first home, your first condo, you're thinking about smart sizing, moving up or moving down. Simos, why don't you go down kind of the list? I'm going to try to have a little bit of potato. This spread is awesome today from Winfield's. Again, today's small business restaurant that we're supporting is Winfield's, corner of York Mills and Leslie. Simos, go down the list, brother.
I will. And these eggs, Benny, I'm just saying, if anybody can hear us from outside the studio, a knife would be nice. Because I'm gonna be looking at this eggs, Benny, and I won't be able to do anything about it. All right. So looking at the list last week, and I'm going to give a shout out to both the agent and to the client if I know the client. And no, I don't know. This is all okay. So I'm going to start with the commercial division, and again, commercial knows no boundaries. Knows no boundaries from a time of year. It's money driven. When commercial is exchanging hands, typically what we see is it's a corporation that's buying it. If a corporation has extra money by the end of the year that it needs to put in the market to make sure their tax strategies are at work, we see a lot of transactions typically in commercial at the end of the year as people are looking for tax shelters and getting that money moving. So we had an Aurelia 18-plex that I know intimately sell. It sold for 3.225 mil. My VP of commercial real estate, Jacob Campanero, ran with that. And that was huge. That's a turnkey acquisition because I know the building. It was owned by one of our strategic partners, Pro Funds, actually. And they changed as they did a complete value add.
Okay.
They had bought it for well under $2 million
Okay.
about 6-7 years ago. Did a value add, turned over all the leases, got the value up, and sold at that 4.5-5 cap.
You mentioned turnkey. Was there renos done as well, like
Fully
a
renoed,
complete
full mechanical. They added 8 or 10 units. So
Wow.
the main ground level used to be commercial.
Okay.
They got it converted to all res.
Yep.
So you have beautiful brand new apartments on the bottom, brand new mechanical on the bottom for the whole building, and then the upstairs was fully renovated for a total of 18 units.
So for anybody who's wondering, what does it mean? What does turnkey investment mean? There's a couple of different ways you can look at it. Essentially, it's done for you. There's really no
Versus
built-in
value add.
equity,
So
versus
turnkey versus value add.
in terms of, like, if you're looking at a residential property, you might be able to add value to the property by adding an income suite. If somebody already did that for you, you're going to be paying more for it because the income suite is already added. The renovations have been done already. Now, there's a lot of value.
But you will have no capex.
But
so
there's
no,
a lot of
no
value.
capital expenditure, of course.
There's a lot of value in picking up a turnkey investment, especially like for myself. I'm not somebody that's going to be able to do the renovations myself. And then when I work into the calculations of but when I'm going to be bringing someone in, it might not be worth it for me. I like the passive, no headache, but there's somebody who's watching, and we have thousands of clients who are only looking for properties where they can add the value. So that's the difference between value add and turnkey.
Well, it's the whole point of your business.
Right.
So your business might be like, if you cannot do renovations because you're here working. So if your work is worth more than the value add in the property, there is no way that that's a smart thing to do. But when your strategy specifically is that you make enough money in your work where you need to invest the money for the same reason everyone else does, and you're going to pick up all the passive appreciation over time, and you have the long game.
And the principal pay down. And
The principal, all the benefits.
Right, yeah.
The only thing you're not taking advantage of is the value add. So what we call the forced, the active appreciation.
Yeah.
But to the next guy who wants to do this for a living, he would be the most foolish man for paying for somebody else's work, because you can create that value within your own portfolio. So if you have the time, the energy, and the will, 100% you should be chasing value add. If you're on the other side where you have capital that you need to deploy, but you do not have the time or expertise to do it yourself well, look for turnkey.
I'm actually curious with the people that are watching right now. If you're more interested in turnkey investments or turnkey properties, give a blue like button. And if you're interested in more value add properties where you can add the value to the property, give a red heart.
Or speak to it.
Just mention it in the comments, but just to make it easier, just blue like for turnkey investments, red for value-added properties. What else what else happened in the market for our team this week?
44 St. Joseph, 875K. That's a condo.
875K.
And that's our beautiful Mark Carter got that out. That's an end user real estate condominium.
And the address was 44 St. Joseph.
44 St. Joseph.
I know that really well.
21st floor.
Yeah.
So just so we don't get
Right at the corner of that's Bay Street. That's in the Bay Street condo market. Yes, they're going exactly for that price point.
35 Brian Peck Crescent, again downtown Toronto, 758K for a condo there. 2 Westney Road, Unit 108, 415K.
So now we're talking Durham.
Durham, and that's Marlene, of course.
Yep.
She heads up. She doesn't. We have 2 major teams now in Durham. One is Christina Astorga, Nick West, and Ashley. The other one is Mar and Ron Braganolo. They both do huge numbers in Durham, and we see a lot of work being done in that corridor. So in this case, the Ajax property just over 400. For anybody who doesn't know, Durham has just reached its peak. It's apex. I shouldn't say a peak because it's going to continue, but It has reached its highest price. The average price of entry to Durham is now $601K, meaning it's crossed the $600K threshold, which is huge news for all Durham investors. Moving on, Jennifer Popo, 2230 Lakeshore, $750K. 20 Sebastian Cobbaway, Toronto, again, Jennifer at just under $600K. Jacob moved a Chatham multiplex for $2.3 million. Chatham is just outside of London, and this was a value-add multiplex opportunity. It did go firm, and it's set to close in the next few weeks. Again, Chatham, $2.3 million. Numbers that nobody ever thought they would ever see in some tertiary markets like that.
We're starting to see a lot of opportunities come out in these tertiary markets right now because of the cap rates, and we will be definitely covering these topics and so many more in our upcoming brunches. Let us know if there's any topics that we didn't cover in 2020 that are kind of burning hot for you that you would like us to cover.
Yeah, to go down the list further, Katie, who is a res-com professional, means she does a lot of retail commercial in the city. She's actually I'm going to be taking her training on this year, where I'm going to take her down a more expert path for retail leasing. But she's been servicing portfolios for family and friends. She does it well. I'm just going to take her to the next level this year. But she just flipped an $800K property on Birdstone here in the city. Mark Gano, a property in Barrie, $490K. And lastly, Jacob, another land deal in Burlington for just shy of $900K, and that's a lot on Lakeshore Road, 2409
The size of the lot was?
It was, I believe, a 50 by 120.
Okay, perfect.
So not a big, like for Lakeshore standards, in Burlington, Oakville, it's not a big estate lot.
Yep.
And that's why you see it at 875.
Right.
If it was like an 80, you'd be already in the 1.6 range.
Well, you can pick something up for, what was it, 900 you said?
Yeah, 875.
875. You build a 3,000 square foot home on that easily for, call it $200 a foot. That's 600,000.
Well, there. So again, like you want to talk about that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So on Lakeshore, even though it's not going to be the estate lot, you're probably going to be closer to 350 a foot because you're going to be building luxury.
Right.
Regardless, even if it's smaller,
like ultra. That's ultra luxury.
Ultra luxury. Ultra luxury. And typically you want to stay under 400, including the cost of the lot.
Right.
So you might be at the 300, 325 range. Yeah.
So, but you're still under $2 million, but you're in a beautiful area in Burlington.
That's
right. On the south side.
That's right. And if you're a flipper, again, there's no bigger value add than buying land and actually creating.
100%.
That's going to be your biggest margin. It's just tough to do because land typically will take a bigger down payment.
Okay. And so we went over the solds. We're also going to be talking next brunch about what's active on the market for us as well. We just weren't able to get that report. But one thing we should mention is that in the last 35 to 40 days, because you mentioned Katie, and I thought of Katie, and I thought of Gevic on our team, they rented out in the last 30 to 40, call it 30 to 45 days, rented out approximately, what was it, like 55 units? 50 to 55 units in the downtown.
Maybe more, actually. I don't
Let's just say on the
update.
bare minimum, 55 units. And the reason I want to mention that is, A, big kudos to Katie and Gevic and great work. And 55 of our clients got their condos rented out and homes and townhomes as well in that number. But it just goes to speak, right? Like, there is a lot of action still happening in the market in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, so I think that's a tremendous point, actually. The 90% of the number that you described is two major projects came to occupancy.
Yep.
Some of them closed, like we closed last week. And we'll talk about that too. Why not? But we're talking, when we say downtown, we're talking Center Ice.
Yep.
We closed 330 Richmond, which is an entertainment district, Richmond and John.
Yep, perfect. It's exactly where it is.
And then Playground, which is the last address of King West, right before Liberty Village, right at the edge of Strawn and King.
Right.
So two major projects.
Right by the CNE there.
Right by the CNE.
Yep.
So both these major projects we had sold major units in, like 30 count plus. So we had coming when August, when we started getting those emails trickling in, and people, rightfully so, were worried. All they were hearing was, people leaving in droves from downtown. What's going to happen downtown? And we saw
Values have gone down, is what people were thinking. We're
Yes.
going to talk about that.
No, and did they get touched? They got touched.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about that. And we're not. When I say we're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about it just from the data we have as one of Canada's biggest groups. I don't want to talk about that right now, but I'm going to talk about data that comes from Urban Nation, which is the country's by far most in-depth statistical analysis agency.
Number one, they've been doing it for 25 years.
They advise the actual government and
Yep.
every agency that matters, and they actually we are their client.
Shout out to Urban Nation, as well as the president of Urban Nation, Sean Hildebrand, who just happens to be a very good friend of REC Canada and Roll LePage Signature. I mean, his firm and his team, the amount of work they put into this
insane.
research. I mean,
But this
a
is what
report
they
that
do.
we hold, right?
But again, this is what they do. So they can enable myself, guys like myself and Jas, and all the other professionals that we respect to have an outlook that's not based on Yahoo
Made up stuff.
riffraff, made
Yeah.
up stuff. We're talking about the real data, and the real data has shown absolutely the cracks that existed before, the holes that need to be patched in the system, both health and economy wise. But it also proved the resiliency of this city, the resiliency of this province, and what real estate investment has been, is, and will continue to be the one thing you can count on. It's not the stock market, because even the stock market came back.
Yep.
But the stock market goes.
Right.
It's a roller coaster.
Yep.
Real estate is not a roller coaster.
Well, you definitely don't see the ebbs and flows in a short period of time like you do in the stock market. And if you look in the GTA, man, 40-year sample size. Simos, we've seen a 7.5 year-over-year increase in the GTA for the last 40 years. If you look at the last 100 years in the GTA, every year on average values double. Right? I think that's a good...
Every 10 years.
Every 10 years, every decade, values double, even if when you look at a 100-year sample size.
Yep.
When you look at the sample size that was from March to the end of the year, I mean, we still saw, and we're going to go into it further, we saw a 13% increase.
Which is, and this is it. So, like, we're not the people, oh, I told you so, and nonsense. Everybody is invested in this. Me and Jas are probably some of the most exposed people to real estate that you could possibly know, because I literally don't have a dime in a stock. I don't have a Waterhouse account. I don't have a Scotia trading account. Like, I legit have every one of my pennies in real estate in one form or another, whether it's in development, whether it's in actual condos, whether it's in income properties and multiplex. Nobody, well, I'm not gonna say nobody because there's many,
For sure.
but we are some of the most vested in real estate.
I think it's safe to say that we also, we walk what we talk.
That's right.
Like we don't, well, now, I think it's also safe to say that we're a lot more aggressive in our own portfolio than we are with other people's, and I think that definitely comes from just being able to sleep well at night and knowing that most people are not going to be as aggressive as us because we're in the business. This is what we do. For us to rent out condos.
Where do you want to start with this report? Do you want to start with?
I think why don't we touch
mortgage arrears? Where do you want to start?
Look, why don't we touch a little bit on what the rhetoric was back in March and April from some of the governing bodies that obviously got a lot of their forecasts at that time wrong, and I'm speaking about CMHC. In my opinion, and I know you agree with me, it was quite irresponsible of CMHC, which is the Canada Mortgage Housing Corporation, to come out and say that values were going to dip in
20+%.
I was going to say 25. I think they said 20 plus, right? 25%, with not understanding how resilient the GTA market is and why it's so resilient.
Well, it was also so premature. They came out with that prediction in April. Like, we were a month into it. Everybody didn't know, literally, their head from their ass at the time.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was panicked and shook. And you have the country's federal agency that overlooks housing come up with a number like that, which put everybody into a complete shock and panic. I don't know if it was maybe a lack of attention or like at this point, I don't know what I call it, daddy issues. Like, what is it you need? You need so much attention. Like at a time like this, you go out with a prediction. A prediction is just a prediction.
Yep.
But when you put a number like 25% to the average household in the GTA where we're trading over $1 million, you just told everybody that they're about to lose $250,000.
Yep.
So there's
without any facts.
But there's responsibility that comes with when you open your trap and you say things like that. We didn't go out saying, no, we're going to go up to 20% to give people false hope. Why would you do something like that? What did you have to gain, or what were you trying to do?
I think it was publicity. In my opinion, I think it was publicity. They wanted to come out with a report and see if they would be right, and they were definitely wrong. Because when we dive in, and let's dive into now I think there's a couple of major market indicators, but the one that I've been really closely looking at recently is the mortgage arrears. Because back then I think it was April,
when the deferrals came out.
The deferrals came in. I was really interested to see how is this going to affect the mortgage market? How is this going to affect the real estate market? They're so tied. They're tied.
And everybody was saying, so mortgage deferrals. Let's call a spade a spade. Basically, the minute that they said mortgage deferrals were going to be allowed, that is a bailout to housing. So you're giving anybody in the housing industry the ability and the right you actually instructed the banks that they have to honor a deferral if one feels they need to defer their mortgage for not being able to work or what have you. So that is a bailout. Let's call it what it is. So housing was one of the first things that got bailed out by the government, which is a very good move by the government. Could they have done more? Sure, we can talk about that. But they did do this. The minute that was approved and it happened, all the pundits now and every expert is saying, okay, we're deferring. Okay, we're on CERB. This is March, April, May. This is the zone where they're talking. And they're saying the minute that we cut off CERB, the minute this crosses 6 months, the minute this happens, we're going to have what's called the deferral cliff.
Yep.
And Sean Hildebrand and Chris Slydom, these are all people that we speak to regularly, and we had our own conversation surrounding this. Did we have our concerns? Yes. But did we have that same, that the world is doomed? It's actually impossible, is what we came up with at the time because of who makes up this GTA. And I'm not talking about all of Canada.
Yeah.
This is Toronto focus. This is GTA.
And the numbers that we're going to be also talking about when it comes
employment
to is employment. And when you said who makes up, let's talk about the province for a second of Ontario. I mean, when the unemployment rate jumped to, I think it was 15% in that first 35, 40 days of the first lockdown, I mean, I was even concerned. Once I saw the numbers. But once we started to dive in, what jobs and what the hourly rate was, I think it was hovering around $17 to $18 an hour. Any job that was under $17 to $18 an hour
took a hit.
That's what took a hit. But in Ontario,
so expand on that. Who makes $17 an hour?
Well, I mean,
who's the majority?
Well, you're looking at non-skilled workers, right?
So hospitality industry support staff,
right away. I mean,
labor staff.
Yep.
Who else is in that range?
Well, that's kind of really what makes up majority of it, right?
The service
100%.
support work. We respect them dearly. We need them. They're an integral part of the force. But the people who took the major hit in this is that demographic right there.
Yep.
Anybody making, Sean said, anybody making $35 an hour or more saw more work and more opportunity.
And they actually even saw their wages increased. And as of right now, in January 2nd, 2021, 97%
of all jobs lost.
Of all jobs that were lost during the first lockdown are back. They're back. People are back at work. And so even the offices that we were concerned about that were shut down, the one thing that I was listening, the one guy I was
Let me
listening
add,
to was Benjamin Tall.
For anyone, the report that we're basing every single thing that we say today off will be available. It can be downloaded off our website. It can also be sent via email if we're able to next week.
Yeah, I think so. Just shoot us an email at info@reccanada.com. It's a 60, 70-page report. This comes out, I think, a couple of times a year. Or is it every month? This one's every month
quarter.
that comes out.
This
every
is quarter.
Got it. So going back to the offices, even like, look, I mean, our office here, we have what we call the bullpen. There's a bunch of desks. They're pretty much all empty. But the jobs are still here. The actual people are not here right now because they're working from home as they should. And majority of the jobs, majority of the offices in downtown Toronto, we're seeing the same thing. That nobody really lost their job. It's just that they got relocated back to home. And we'll talk about kind of our forecast for 2021 in terms of what we're hearing from some of the major banks, the major law firms, the Bay Street offices, what they're saying and what they're seeing in terms of when people are going to start to come back. Why don't we dive into kind of the key demand drivers for the GTA? We spoke about unemployment. We spoke about mortgage arrears. Let's talk a little bit about immigration now, okay? Where that's probably one of the biggest hits that we saw in Ontario.
And remember, when we talk about the mortgage deferrals and mortgages, that's one key driver. Employment is a key driver. And lastly, what Jas just mentioned, the immigration, is what causes the surge in demand for housing.
For sure, especially in the GTA.
So it's the last, I'm not going to say the most important, and just as important component to this all, because the story of the GTA would be nothing if it wasn't for that demand.
I actually think it's like the halo, right? Like immigration is really, when you have the fact that we've always had approximately 150,000 to 200,000 people come into the Greater Toronto Area year after year, that's what's been driving the demand. We can't keep up with the supply, and we'll talk about the Greenbelt legislation and kind of the delays, because that is what determined the values going up, in my opinion, because there's been massive delays in construction. But let's talk about the hit that our province and our city took in terms of immigration. The exact numbers are not, like, we don't have the exact numbers, only because we can't forecast how many people come from driving from Montreal or driving from Windsor. Those numbers are hard to kind of factor in. But we saw an approximate decrease of about 64% year over year from immigration levels. That's huge.
Massive, because we had January, February, and almost March as normal.
Yep.
And then the rest of the year was almost nil. So the number of that 65, 70%, whatever the case may be, is logical.
Yep.
Because there's an artificial spoke in the wheel. Like we literally stopped the wheel.
Yep.
We can't have anyone come over because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So nothing changed in the GTA from the GTA being the most sought after place to live. We rank number one and number two of places to live on the planet every
best
year.
Cities, all that kind of stuff.
So there's a reason people come here. And now you have the federal immigration agency going from, which was already a big number, 350,000 people is what we were looking for on a per year basis coming into the country.
Into the country, good.
Increased by almost 15% because we need to make up. We need to make up for this loss. So we're going to be looking for 400,000 people per year coming into the country on a permanent residency basis.
For the next 3 years, just for the next 3 years alone.
So not only is it crucial to housing, which is what we're talking about, it is these people that are going to bring that extra boost to the economy when they set up a home. It's not just the home they're setting up their life's work, they're setting up their businesses, they're hiring people, they're doing everything that a human being does in an organized society. They have to go through all the steps of education. So they're going to send their kids to university, which means they're going to rent their kid a house, and they're going to get a job, and they're going to hire people, and they're going to eat, and they're going to dine, and they're going to travel, and they're going to move, creating the ripple effect that Canada has now really and truly come to depend on, which is why the immigration target is as aggressive and why we're going to be pursuing it. And now I want you to talk about how the GTA benefits from that increased quota.
Well, I also want to, and I'm going to touch on the fact of how many homes are needed when we have, say there's 400,000 people coming into the country year after year. We know out of 400,000, approximately 50,000 are going to come into the GTA, okay? Out of the 50,000, so now we're at 200,000 people, we need 50,000 households, because the average person comes with about 4 people. We need approximately 50,000 households And on the best year ever on record in terms of new households that we've completed was 40,000, 40 to 42,000. On average, we flirt anywhere from 28 to 32,000. Massive deficit.
So we have a built-in deficit every year that we know of.
And why do we have that deficit? Because we have a Greenbelt legislation. You guys have heard us speak about this, but we also know that you have to hear things over and over again. And so the Greenbelt legislation that runs on the northern part of the GTA, okay, in southern Ontario, restricts developers to build. So this year we had the Greenbelt legislation, but we also had construction halt. With construction halt, like physically, we weren't able to build anymore for a good two-month period. But the city offices were closed as well. And so any type of application, which on a good day takes 10 years from application to for a building to be erected, you don't get, that happened, that takes 10 years. Well, that also got delayed. So now,
Yes.
with 200,000 people coming into the GTA, we know in 2021, 2022, and so on and so forth, okay, we only can, the best we can do probably is about 30,000. Basic supply and demand, it's why we have seen values increase. Now, we've seen values increase in every single segment of the market in terms of property type, townhomes, detached, semi-detached. The only one that took a decline was the condo market, okay? And the condo market took a decline of price of a little less than 10%.
That's right.
I think it was the final number that just came in, okay? A little less than 10%. But now we've seen the rebound effect. You and I call it the V-shaped, you know, and we took that from Benjamin Tal, who's a senior economist at CIBC. We've seen the V-shaped recovery. With the condo market, we were already starting to see multiple offers for rentals, okay? And we're starting to see increases in specifically the downtown condo market with values. So if you're an investor or purchaser, possibly thinking or always wanted to maybe move downtown, move into a condo, get into, like if you're living with your parents right now and you want to get into a condo of your own, or if you're in a bigger home and you want to downsize, there's this white space, I guess you can call it, of where you can get some built-in equity right now because values have not got back up to what we were seeing in pre-pandemic.
I want you to quote Chris Lightup. So 2 nights ago, we had our team meeting, and we stayed for about a half hour after our team meeting and just did a chat. And of course, all we ever talk about is real estate. Call us boring, it's okay. But we're talking kind of macro scene, macroeconomics and macro real estate, and about our own portfolios. Chris, and this is verbatim, there is very few times, if ever, where you have had the Fed implementing monetary policy to keep interest rates to the lowest recorded in history. You can literally get a 5-year mortgage at 1.5% easily across any of the institutions. And at the same time have a price that's been historically the lowest than in any market, meaning that 10% cut that we've seen, if you look at it over the last 5 years, we're going up 10, 12% every year. So this isn't real. Unless you bought in like October of 2019, you're not materializing any real loss. So let's keep things into perspective.
Yep.
So let's call the guy who bought in October 19. He did lose 10%. You're on track. Every single agency is predicting a minimum, though, that we found the bottom. Mm-hmm. So now we're seeing a stability set in.
Yep.
The inventory is coming into check. So this isn't going to last long, this little window of opportunity that we've talked about.
Yep.
I know for months now you've been calling it downtown's on sale, get in, get in.
Definitely.
Forget this today. Today's not we're not selling anything. But you really need to think. Because for money to be this low and you to have a built-in 10% discount, I think, so here's my prediction, in the next 90 days, that's going to be gone.
Yeah, so it's funny that you said 90 days.
Because consumer confidence is back.
Yeah.
The vaccine is rolling.
Yeah.
So by the time people give their heads a shake, if you're waiting to say the university reopened before you buy, you're going to be too late to the dance.
And I love that you said 90 days. I was probably shifting towards like 4 to 5 months is
Sure.
this window, right?
Sure.
But we're not far off. As long as you can do one of two things when you're purchasing these condos that are on the market. We're not talking about new builds, okay? That's a totally different story, totally
Completely different.
brunch, okay? Is if you can actually get a closing date right? So you negotiate a closing date for 90 days, and or if you can carry it, like if you can't negotiate a 90-day closing date and you have to go 60 days or 45 days to get a better deal, as long as you can stomach a lower, if you're an investor, a lower, slightly lower rent by, call it 18 to 20%, just for year one. Okay, for year one, if you can feed it yourself a couple,
Because that's not going to last either.
because that's not gonna. We know that's not gonna last. I mean, Toronto's just Toronto. It's it's already bouncing back.
Correct.
However, if you're a purchaser, like an end user, somebody who, you know, you're living with your family, living with your parents, or you want to, as I mentioned, get into something smaller because you own a bigger home, I think that's the biggest win, because you'll sell a detached home or a semi-detached home
high right
at the peak, and then you'll move into a condo, for example, where the value,
high.
and we haven't seen it as low as we've seen it right now. So that's that window that you can win in. If you're going to move in, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you. You're going to be able to actually take advantage of I saw 1.7 to 1.8% on mortgages. You saw something like 1.55 as well?
Jas, so we did 3 months ago when we renewed two
Yeah.
of ours. It was at 1.91, and I was screaming at the rafters that we ripped the banks off because we made literally almost $1,000 a month in cash flow that didn't exist before that money was going to the bank. Almost 65% of our principal is being paid in every payment right now. It used to be the reverse. So like the first 10 years of any mortgage, and I don't know who looks at their mortgage statements and who doesn't, I do. When you first acquire a property, the first 5-10 years, it's lopsided to the bank.
Yep.
All your money goes to interest,
Yep.
some to the principal, and over time, you start paying off the principal and less to the
Approximately 80%, 70%, call it. 75% of it goes towards interest, and 25% goes towards principal.
Right now,
Yeah.
at 1.5%, it's the exact opposite. So going into your first property or your first rental property, it's either you, if you're an end user, or your tenant, literally paying 70% of every payment is going to your principal.
Which means it's going to your pocket.
Never happened before.
Yeah, and so it's very easy to see that if you just go to any type of mortgage calculator. Just Google a mortgage calculator. I just happen to use, and we're not sponsored by them, but I happen to use TD Mortgage Calculator. You'll be able to punch in the mortgage amount, the interest rate, as well as mortgage rate, interest rate, and what your term is, and the amortization. And then you click amortization schedule. You'll see exactly what Simos and I are talking about. You can see how much of each dollar out of the dollar each month goes towards principal and interest. Never have we seen that much, 70 to 75% of your payment go towards principal, which is your savings. That's your nest egg.
No, but the two fundamental things are never at the same slide. So the scale is out of balance, and it's favoring the investor right now.
Well, purchaser
Typically-
as well, right? Because there's end users as well.
Purchaser.
Yeah.
So right now, typically if you're in a seller's market, you're working against price. So yes, you have favorable money, but you're working against a high price. That's a seller's market. That's a favorable real estate market. In this case, you're in the middle of the entire GTA going up because of the demand, because of
Lack of supply.
And you have a sector of it, a major sector of it, that was put under pressure because of rental, because of job loss downtown, that is now slowly starting to recover, and you have a very limited window where you can take your cheap money and actually get a place for 10, 12, 15% even. If you're a very prudent buyer,
Yep.
you can negotiate and get a killer deal that you're going to be cash flowing like a pig later on.
Yeah, and I think what you were trying to also say is that if you look back to 50 years, anytime interest rates have gone low, because the cost of borrowing has gone low, values always go up.
Skyrocket, yes.
They skyrocket. Again, it's the first time we've actually caught a segment of the market where the values are low as well as the cost.
We caught
of
it
borrowing.
flat-footed.
Well, I love that. We caught it flat-footed. It's exactly what I was thinking. Where if you look at the detached market and the semi-detached market,
not the case.
anywhere outside of Toronto, like Brampton, Mississauga, Oakville specifically.
20% increase year over year.
Year over year. You're talking
So
about
it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're talking about.
exactly. It's what we've always seen.
Cheap money, expensive prices.
Yep.
Rising prices. And you have in that atmosphere, again, a segment that got caught over here.
Yep.
Take advantage of it.
Yep.
If you're listening, wake up, take advantage of it. You're gonna say, I'm glad I did. all day long.
And you won't be saying, I wish I had. We've made that mistake tons and tons of time. We're trying to save people from making that same mistake. Resale market on track for 93 sales. The exact number is going to be coming out on Monday. We will make sure to send out the exact number of how many sales were done. That number comes out on Monday for us here at on the Toronto Real Estate Board. But it's safe to say it's going to be on track to hit 93 sales. That's the top 3 on record during a pandemic. So overall, kind of macro, what happened in the market in the GTA and in Toronto, you saw 93 sales. That's a little over 180,000 people that decided to take action this year and make a move. And majority of that 180,000 people, they had to make the move. They needed to find something bigger. They needed to find something smaller. They wanted to get into a better school district for the kids. Good. No, it's coming in and out. No, nothing.
I've never heard anything on mine.
The whole time?
The whole time.
That's odd. Then you're not high enough. Let me know. I don't think I can hear myself yet.
Hello. Yeah. I don't know. We're good?
All right, guys. Sorry about that. We apologize. There's a little bit of a technical difficulty.
That's because we don't use Energizer. We got to use Energizer.
We were using Duracell. It's not that. Well, either that or Clemmer or Steven is still a little hungover from New Year's Eve. Give them a big shout out. They make all this happen, and the rest of our support staff, both Tyler and Bobby Puim and Laura Stewart. Thank you. Let's go back into.
I want to just touch on this one slide.
Go ahead.
Price growth returns to double digits. Homes sold for above asking 101% for 5th straight month in November. So you have literally July, August, September, October, November, selling at 101% of asking. That's insanity.
Well, why does that happen again? We spoke about it earlier, right?
6th straight month of double-digit annual price growth. Year-to-date price, this is end of November.
Yep.
End of December comes out on Monday.
Yeah.
End of November, year-to-date price up 13.6 over 2019. So this isn't, again, like I repeat, this isn't nonsense talk. This is, we're analyzing and going off the results of the year and what do we truly expect to happen in 2021.
Well, let's get into that. What do we expect? We're kind of winding down our first brunch of 2021. I was just about to say 2020. I have a feeling that's going to take me about 30 days to get used to. And
it's like writing a check, but you never write checks anymore.
Write checks. Who writes checks these days? Let us know. We're going to talk about our forecast in the next for the next 5 minutes or so. But let us know what your thoughts are. Like with all the numbers that we went over, you agree, you disagree. Like, we want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. Leave us a comment. Let us know. And again, don't forget, give us a blue like if you're more interested in turnkey investments and a red heart if you're looking for more value added. I just kind of want to get a sense of the people that are watching and listening. Also, if you jumped on late or if you're watching the recording and you just happen to forget, please comment and let us know what small business / restaurant we can support on our next brunch this week It was we chose one of our favorite diners in our own backyard, which is Winfield's at the corner of Leslie and York Mills. Please, if you have a sec on Uber Eats, DoorDash, skip the dishes, or go pick it up yourself if you have the time. Go support Winfield's. You will not be disappointed. Simos put the order in today. Put in some eggs Benny with some toast and potatoes and a spinach and feta omelet. Obviously went Greek style.
And ham and cheddar. I respect everyone.
You did the ham and cheddar as well. That is sorry.
Q&A or no?
Yeah, well, sure, we can do a little Q&A section if Luke can help us out. Maybe if he can get into the Q&A, or Steven, maybe you can get into the Q&A and feed us some of the questions. If there's a couple of questions in the comments, let us know. Tyler's there, but he has to. How would I? He's asking. Okay, just feed us the questions. Why don't we take 2 minutes right now?
Are we able to bring Ty in on this?
Are we able to bring Tyler in? That's a great question, Simos. And then he'll be able to see the comments. Let's test
bring
it.
that guy
Let's
in,
test
man.
it. Why don't we test it?
So everybody, this is brand new software. It is supposed to be the latest and greatest, meaning that it's television production quality, which is why we're able to switch cameras and bring people in. So just bear with us as we get through it. And also, we're using the blue light and the red button. I'm hoping that within the next few weeks we figure out the polling proper.
Yes.
And of course we'll use that because it's easy and it's through Facebook.
Yeah.
But like we're hoping to have some real polls up where you can bang out exact data that you want, and that way we can actually bring it for the next brunch.
So why don't we talk while the boys try to bring Tyler in for a quick Q&A? Why don't you and I touch on what's your forecast, man? You give your kind of 2 minutes, I'll give mine. What's your forecast on the 2021? Obviously, we don't have the crystal ball.
Yeah. So
It is backed by experience. Go.
I made a post yesterday. I wrote in the beginning of December. I wrote my very first article that was published.
Big shout out.
Real Estate Wealth Magazine. I think if Tyler, if you have the link, share it with them in the comments so people can take a read through and give me some feedback. But my message is very, very consistent with what I've said today. I knew that 2020, like by May, I had a very clear picture of 2020, and we had countless discussions. So this isn't like mine versus yours because we were on the same page. By end of May, both Jas and I knew that mayhem was to follow. And when I say mayhem, I'm talking we sold, 150 investment properties in the course of 90 days. So again, blessings on blessings. Thank you to our loyal clients. But they're also very smart people who have seen now a 13% increase in a matter of 6 months because they took advantage and took benefit of it.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so my prediction for 2021 is, and I'll quote Chris Slightum, cautiously optimistic.
Yep.
Meaning that do I control the flow of the vaccine? Do I control the timing of it? No, the military does. So, but we do know that there's a vaccine. So consumer confidence, which was in this report and that we all are all aware of, if you just Google consumer confidence housing GTA, you're going to see the stats for yourself. Consumer confidence in housing in the GTA and overall, actually, consumer confidence is back to almost pre-pandemic levels, which is unheard of to be in a lockdown and people feel they know it's temporary. So that's what that means. People know that this isn't here to stay. So, and I personally believe the same. So call me an idiot, call me optimistic. That's what I believe. I believe that within 6 months, 8 months, by the end of the year, whatever the case may be, this will be history.
Yeah.
And I am not changing my style, my existing investment style. I'm actually gonna, me personally, and I'll speak to a little bit to us because we're kind of tied in the same pocket. We have the same pocket. We're doubling down.
Yeah,
we're doubling down.
Well, doubling down on the buy and hold.
When we tell people there's an opportunity downtown now, don't think that I don't have my own searches set up for myself.
Well,
that's all I'm getting.
We'll even document maybe a purchase that we'll make within the next say 60 days or so, and so we'll actually document it, going through the process of it. I love that these are recorded. We're gonna bring Tyler in for a quick Q&A.
Yes.
My personal kind of prediction is again very cautiously optimistic. I personally only like to see single-digit growths because I truly believe that the tortoise will win the race nice and slow and steady. Back in 2017, early 2017.
I believe that too.
Right?
I think we're going to be in the high 8 to 10%.
Yeah, so I'm hoping for 7.5 to 8 is what I'm hoping for. When it went in 2017, it went to 17.8%. That wasn't good news in my opinion, because anything that goes up that fast needs to come. It is going to come back down, and so my forecast is really 7.5 to 8% year-over-year increase in terms of sales volumes. I do believe, as you heard us talk about at nausea now for the last hour, that the condo market's going to rebound, mixed in with what we're already seeing in the townhome, semi-detached, and detached markets. I think we're going to top 100,000 sales in the GTA for 2021.
And that would be a record.
And that will be a record.
We've only done it once in 2017.
And that was in 2017.
2016 or 2017?
So the peak was at 2016.
End of 2016.
End of 2016. Hence, then they brought in
and
that
then in
fair
April,
housing, right?
Yes.
So I think we're going to hit a little above 100,000 homes with a year-over-year increase of about 7.5 to 8%. What does that tell you? That Toronto might not give you the best cap rates per se as an investor, but it is one of the safest places to invest. That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
So we're again dead on board.
Yeah.
Our predictions cautiously optimistic, based only on vaccine turnaround,
right,
and normalcy
and border opening.
But regardless, let's call it an 8% appreciation by the end of the year.
Love it. That's what I think we're going to see.
8-point appreciation by the end of the year. If the normalcy returns by June, July, it'll be much higher.
Yes.
But cautiously optimistic, and our bet is to buy downtown TO, because downtown TO is the best place to live. Everybody always wants to be there. Buy now.
And we're looking into buying in the next 60 days, guys. And we're going to document it
Glasses
as well.
on for QA, baby.
For Q&A. Tyler Ty Walbourne, Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year's, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
How's everything, Ty? We just can't hear you on our headset yet. Give us a second.
Yeah.
We appreciate everyone's patience. As Simos had mentioned, with this new software, we're trying to get upgraded here.
But it's supposed to be the best.
That we bring. Yeah, and we're just learning and going through the kinks. Tyler, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
1 second, bud. We see it. Ty.
You know. Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
How are you doing, Ty? Yes, we can.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my boy.
Okay, so let's go. I'm going to have to scroll up here. There were some really good questions. I saw one.
How was the comments section today?
It was good. It was. It's always busy.
Awesome.
You know, we have a lot of great people tuning in, and the one challenge we had in Zoom, we had the Q&A portion and the Q&A section. So where you got to just scroll up a little bit, which is okay. We love the comments.
We're going to definitely figure it out, as we always do. With the crew that we have, we make it easier and easier every week.
Why do I feel so cool with these glasses on?
Well, you look better with those glasses on.
Let's like for Simos or hard for Jas's. Let's see which one we like better.
Yes.
Are we doing this again?
It doesn't get old for me.
I'll make my vote. I'll make my vote here. Okay, so the first question was from Sam. I voted for Jas this time. I voted for your sweater last week, so you know I gotta be fair.
Jas made me pay, bro.
So he did? Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Didn't you guys both?
Yeah.
I thought you both did.
He did it voluntarily, but
REC did its thing.
It sucks because usually we do the end of the year toy drives. That's probably one of my favorite times of the year, so I can't wait to start doing that again next year.
Don't worry. We still got more than 5-7 grand, something silly.
Yeah. All right, so for the first question is from Sam. With Toronto condo prices dropping, what are the chances of making positive cash flow?
Yes,
the rents dropped too.
So you got to remember the values did drop, but so did the rents. And so as of right now, you're not going to be looking at positive cash flow. You're going to be in and around neutral, but most likely you'll be negative by a couple of $100. Here's my again, our philosophy on investing. Let's just say you had to put in $200 a month out of your pocket. If you're looking at $2,400 at the end of the year, you're with the values, how much they're going to rebound in terms of a price appreciation, you're going to make a lot more in your left pocket than you're losing in your right pocket. Now, if you can't stomach the $200, that type of investment is not for you, and that's okay. There's others that are available. This one here, this white space, this opportunity that we spoke about is for someone that's okay to be a little bit more aggressive. And hence why both myself and Simos are going to be documenting a purchase within the next 60 days that we make in the downtown core, and show you how negative we are, and then we'll look at it a year from now to show you the actual numbers.
And I will expand a little bit on the rental. Excuse me. So basically the rentals are down because that's what drove the price appreciation down. So right now you're going to be buying something that we know is going to appreciate in value very quickly this year. That's the lull that we're talking about where it got caught flat-footed. Your money is so cheap. You're going to be purchasing at 10 to 15% off pre-pandemic. The rental is going to take a couple of years to catch up. Because if you're buying a property that was built before 2018.
And I think that's another little hidden gem. Like if you can find a resale condo that was built after November 2018, you can win both ways. Sorry to cut you off.
You're just bringing in more competition to our...
Yeah, that's okay, but there are REC insiders. I'll even hold off on a purchase to give it to somebody else because that's how much I believe in it. But go.
So basically, there are a few tips and tricks, and this is where you got to get really smart. If you are looking for cash flow, look elsewhere. This is a play on equity, guaranteed. You're going to have a massive jump in the downtown core this year, and I think it's going to be more than any other asset class because it's going to be the one that's catching up.
Yep.
Okay? So if you believe that we are right on that, pay close attention. Try to put down a bigger down payment if you have it, only because you're not going to be nursing a big negative, and the equity sits well positioned, and it's going to help you get the best mortgage rate as well. So when you put in 25%, the bank's not going to question your application.
And you can refinance quicker when you
100%.
put down the extra 5% as well.
Because you have more into it.
You have more into it, yep.
Which is what you'll be doing in year 2 and year 3.
Yeah.
So all you're looking for is an underappreciated asset in a central AAA location, which right now you have enough people that are so emotional, they try to put a sale together, that you can just go snag a beautiful little deal and $100K with it.
And I don't think we mentioned it. I'm not sure if we did on today's brunch. Values have gone down in downtown Toronto condos by about 8%. Like, I mean, you're going to be 8 to 10, but that's how you can win. That's where you can win. Next question.
Keeping the same tune with downtown condos, our friend Carlton asks, what's the average cost of condos downtown right now?
A new build, we're probably seeing about $1,300 price per square foot.
We're also so there's no average price. We need to know, is it a 2-bedroom or 1+den a 1-bedroom? In which pocket in downtown? It varies quite a bit, but you're looking at $1,000 resale, about $1,300 new.
And you can still actually, when you say 1,000 on the resale, I've seen some even at like 9 and a
100%,
quarter, right?
Yeah.
900 to 9 and a quarter. But any of the newer projects that we're looking at, you're flirting around that $1,300 average price.
I was literally just looking. Okay, wait 1 second. The top selling new construction sites this year is right here. So 55 Mercer sold at an average sold price $1,447 a foot. That's an entertainment district. That's Center Ice. That's literally, we're saying Center Ice. It's the old Gretzky's. Okay. 88 Queen sold for $1,300 a foot. Oro at Edge Towers, that's Mississauga Square One, $1,000 a foot. 199 Church, $1,392 a foot. Canopy Towers, Mississauga, Highway 10 in Eglinton, $892 a foot. Festival Landmark Tower, $1,050 a square foot. That's Vaughan at the VMC.
At the VMC.
So again, if you want to know what's happening around the GTA,
yeah,
I'm giving you a perfect picture. Untitled, Yonge and Eglinton, $1,270 a square foot. 28 Eastern, downtown East, 1220 a foot, average. And Westport, which tons of eyes. Who wants the news?
What was it?
What did our people buy at?
Oh, I got to look back. We had people in at around 850.
850 to 900 by the end of it.
Yeah, yeah. What did it end off
Number
at?
9, Westport, Mississauga South. Average sold price, $1,019 per square foot, and it's 100% sold.
And
you
so-
will get this report
Yeah.
just for that, because half of you bought it here.
Yeah, so congratulations to everybody who made that $100 on average price per square foot. Congratulations.
And this is before anything.
Yeah.
This is buying off the blueprint.
Yeah,
So if you buy early, you're
Yeah.
paying $100 less.
Yep.
When you buy towards the end, when the building opened up to every buyer,
Joe Public.
Joe Public,
Yep.
they paid $100 more. That's amazing. Great job. Well, great for us. We have one there too. 624. What's up, baby?
Unit 624? Is
Yeah.
that what we bought?
Yeah, we're on the 6th floor. Little corner 1 bedroom. You know what I mean?
Tyler?
And that was in March and April of this year when we sold that, or when our investors purchased
At
it.
Westport, we did
It was summer.
summer, July.
Oh, summer. That's right.
That was Taylor, the first one.
Oh yeah. All right. So the next question is from Deepak. Hey guys, your suggestions on cash flow positive cities within 4-hour drive distance from the GTA.
All sorts. All sorts.
Yeah, I mean, there's Chatham we spoke about. There's Barrie. There's Windsor that falls in that 4-hour window, obviously.
North Bay, Sudbury, all those.
I'm starting to look at on the east side, Bowmanville. Within the GTA, you're seeing cash flowing properties in Durham. I mean, if you look in Oshawa, something that we're bullish on coming in 2021, because you can find a detached home or a semi-detached home with 2 doors, and that is going to be cash flowing. Now, when you say cash flowing, are you asking for $1,000 a month positive cash flow? You're going to be hard pressed anywhere in Southern Ontario, right? Like, I mean, we had the report, the brunch that we did before the new year, where we brought in all the investor savvy realtors right across the country. Just look below wherever you're watching this live, or go to our YouTube page. You'll see the recording. All of them said, look, you're probably looking at about neutral cash flow. There's very rare are you finding $1,000, $2,000 positive cash flow. Different topic or different conversation for maybe for a different day, but really quickly, look, even when you get your $1,000 positive cash flow, you got to pay tax on that. You're probably getting it outside the GTA, where the passive appreciation is not as high. So you got to weigh all those things. I'm not saying that GTA is the only place. I do truly believe that it's the safest place.
There's some big things just to that. If you do go back and watch the flight through Canada that we did a couple weeks ago, I will tell you that if you need a referral to some of those markets, Corey Matthews found some really imbalanced markets on the other side of Niagara and Fort Erie side. So if you are aggressively chasing cash flow, just send Tyler an email. Ask for the introduction that you'll get from the inside, because you get treated differently as an REC insider, and that's fact. You'll be connected to Corey. You can be connected to the Heddle Group.
Yep.
From the inside, again, it's different to look at those Woodstocks, those all those little markets outside of Hamilton, where there's still some opportunity.
As a place to look at
gotta
investing,
work with the London
right?
team and
Right, London. I mean, Justin Conoco,
St. Thomas,
all that. Grand Bend.
Grand Bend.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, Tyler. Why don't we take 2 more?
The next one is from Vilma. Are you open for one-on-one coaching, or do we do one-on-one coaching at REC?
Yes, we definitely do, and we don't charge for it. Just send an email. Was it Wilma or Vilma? Sorry if I mispronounced it. Just send an email to info@reccanada.com, and Tyler, as our air traffic controller, will put you in touch with us, and we'll go from there.
And then the last question is, Jas and Simeon, any new build condo opportunities that we're recommending outside the GTA?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 launches coming up. I'll speak to it really quickly. We have a launch coming up January 30th right here on Brunch with REC, Saturday, live on Facebook at 10:30 a.m. Saturday, January 30th. And then we have a second launch coming off later on in February, early March. But the one that's coming out on January 30th is the one that we've been waiting for the last 6 to 8 months. Simeon obviously went around and pulled the builders and the developers' leg to get this ready for us. So make sure that you watch our launch on Saturday, January 30th, and invite a friend. If they're a friend of yours, they're a friend of ours.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, not because it's a surprise, but because we're still literally neck deep in due diligence.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, the only way we are able to actually sell 30 units in one Saturday morning is because all the legal, every single component that you're gonna go through is already done by us.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna launch something that we know will not pass due diligence, because then we just wasted every single thing we do it for.
Yeah.
So legals, condo papers, carry-on, approvals. That's what we're going through right now. We're also actively negotiating the incentives. And we go in with a list this long, and we hopefully come out with a list this long. They try to tell us that we get no list at all.
Well, it's how they
and
start
so on
low,
and so forth.
we start high. Maybe Steven or Tyler, if you're in the comments, why don't you put a link to the pre-construction master class, I apologize, that we did not too long ago, a couple of months ago. Just put the link in the comments right now, so you get educated on the process of investing into a pre-construction. Sounds good.
All right,
Tyler,
I'll
thank you so much, my man.
Great seeing you and speaking to you. See you all on Monday.
All right.
And for all the brunchers, it was great speaking with you all.
To everyone, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for your time, your support. Simos, Happy New Year.
Blessings on blessings on blessings.
Leave us a comment. Tell us how we did. Happy New Year. Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
We're probably not done yet, Steven, are we?
Okay.